Hello, and welcome to Once Upon a Time in Black History. I am your host, Tamara Shiloh, author, educator, and owner of the Multicultural Bookstore in Richmond, California, and Las Vegas, Nevada. You can also find us on my website at onceuponatimeInBlackHistory.com. Our shows are sponsored by the Multicultural Bookstore, and if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please send me an email at tamarashiloh@gmail.com. Alrighty then, let's get this party started. Okay, today we're going to talk about Cathay Williams, the first African-American female Buffalo Soldier. How about that? Cathay Williams holds a unique and remarkable place in American history as the first documented African-American woman to enlist in the U.S. Army. Cathay Williams was born in Independence, Missouri in September 1844, during a time when slavery was widespread in the United States. Her mother was an enslaved woman, and her father was a free man. But under the laws of that time, she was considered enslaved too. Growing up in Missouri, she lived through the hardships and restrictions that came with her status as a young African-American woman. At the age of 17, during the Civil War, she was forced into service by the Union Army as a cook and laundress when Union forces occupied Jefferson City, Missouri. This was a common practice, as enslaved people were often taken by the military to provide support roles like cooking, cleaning, and nursing wounded soldiers. Cathay accompanied the Army for several years, traveling with different units and witnessing the realities of war. After the Civil War ended, many former enslaved individuals, including Cathay, sought new opportunities and stability in a nation still grappling with its post-war identity. She, however, made a bold decision that set her apart from others. In 1866, at the age of 22, she enlisted in the U.S. Army under the alias William Cathay, so she switched her names around. This was during the time of the Buffalo Soldiers, African-American regiments formed after the Civil War to help maintain order in the western frontier. These regiments, composed mostly of black soldiers, were tasked with protecting settlers, building infrastructure, and engaging in military campaigns against Native American tribes. To join the Army, she disguised herself as a man. Women were not allowed to serve in the military at the time, so she had to hide her true identity in order to enlist. Standing at around 5 feet 9 inches tall, she passed the cursory medical examinations of the time and was assigned to the 38th U.S. Infantry Regiment, one of the units of the Buffalo Soldiers. Her ability to maintain her disguise as a man in the rough and rugged conditions of military life speaks volumes about her courage and determination. Military life was tough for Cathay, especially in the grueling environment of the American West. Soldiers faced long marches, harsh weather, and dangerous encounters with both Native American tribes and hostile wildlife. For 2 years, she served alongside her fellow soldiers, participating in several campaigns in New Mexico, Colorado, and Kansas. Despite the physically demanding and dangerous nature of the work, she successfully kept her true identity hidden from her comrades. In an interview with the St. Louis Daily Times that was dated January 2nd, 1876, Cathay shared, "The regiment I joined wore the Zouave uniform, and only 2 persons, a cousin and a particular friend, members of the regiment, knew that I was a woman. They never blowed on me. They were partly the cause of my joining the Army. Another reason was I wanted to make my own living and not be dependent on relations or friends. And just so you know, a Zouave uniform consisted of a distinctive jacket, vest, sash, baggy trousers, and a fez, which is a turban. However, the intense conditions of military life eventually took their toll on her health. She began to experience frequent illnesses, and after a series of medical treatments, the Army surgeon finally discovered that she was a woman. In 1868, after 2 years of service, Cathay Williams was honorably discharged from the Army. Her enlistment was a groundbreaking achievement, even if it was short-lived. After her discharge, Cathay faced significant hardships, particularly with her health. She struggled to find steady work and suffered from the effects of the illnesses she had endured during her time in the military. In later years, she applied for a pension based on her military service and her health conditions. Despite her honorable service and ongoing health issues, her application was denied, as women were not eligible for veterans' pensions at the time. Wow. Little is known about the later years of her life, but it is believed that she died in the early 1890s, possibly in Trinidad, Colorado. Despite the hardships she endured, Cathay Williams' legacy as the first African-American woman to serve in the U.S. Army remains an inspiring testament to her strength and determination. Now, her story has been largely overlooked in mainstream history for many years, but recent efforts have been made to recognize her contribution to American history. In 2016, a statue was erected in her honor in Leavenworth, Kansas, as part of efforts to celebrate the contributions of African-American women in the military. Her service with the Buffalo Soldiers not only broke racial and gender barriers, but also challenged the social norms of her time. Now imagine that. See you next time. Thank you for tuning in to Once Upon a Time in Black History. For more information on this topic and others, visit the Multicultural Bookstore at multiculturalbookstore.com. And again, if you want to advertise in our podcast for a mere $25, please contact me at Tamara Shiloh at gmail.com. See you next time.